Chams Info Channel. Subscribe now.
We need 3 more. So inside this box, there is a little something, and I just need you to pick one, okay? I just need you to pick one paper. Okay, and then you can go and sit down. And I wrote these by myself. I really hope you guys can understand my handwriting because it's really bad. What? Oh, okay. Okay. Did anyone else take any extra? Do we have 2 here? Okay. So, I counted that, y'all. I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. But thank you, though, for coming up. Okay. So, as we wait for our other panelists, okay, so have you guys opened your papers? I didn't get mine so excited. They literally just papers. But, so have you opened them? You read them? Can you understand the handwriting?
For sure.
Oh, I'm not really good at that. Okay. So they are numbered. They all have numbers. So, can I please have the one with number 1 stand up? Who has number 1? Okay, awesome. I need the microphone. Okay, so on these papers there are questions. And these questions are the questions that that will be asked onto the panelists. So can you please read the first question?
It says, how would you say your personality has changed between now and when you were 13?
Okay. How would you say your personality has changed between now and when you were 13? No, this is all like anyone. We don't have to answer it, but it's for everyone. Okay? Who wants to go first? Or should I go first? I'll go first. So, okay, as we get older, our personalities change. Let me tell you something. For me, I mean, I'm only 18. I don't know why I'm telling you like, I don't know, 40 or something. But like, as we get older, I feel like this is the point in our lives where we are trying to figure out our identity. Because like, Annie, me when I was younger, me become Ndoto. I'm sorry, I stopped speaking. Me become Ndoto, right? Me become Nenda, let's say, restaurant now, as a longer. I was not ordering my own food. Like, I actually remember. I actually don't even know why my mom thought I liked chicken and chips so much. But like, whenever I go to the restaurant, she'd be like, oh yeah, the little one, she always have chicken and chips and like juice and this. Like, I would never make my own decisions, let's say, right? So it's like, that's not that wasn't me. Like, chicken and chips was not me, but it's like, as we're children, to feel our bubble, it's like, you haven't really figured out who you are yet. You know, like, do you like chicken and chips? Do you like steak? You don't know, you know? But then like, now when I go to the restaurant, like, I actually find it very weird if my mom started ordering my food. I feel like, sis, no, that's not what I want. But it's because I understood my identity. Like, I've identified, this is the person that I am, you know? So, I guess I really can't say my personality has changed because now it's like, you know, when you're growing older, you're the one that's in control of your personality, what you like, what you don't like, you know, kind of like the ordinary thing. Me, when I was younger, it's very interesting. I used to be, actually no, I transitioned a lot. You know, we're talking about deep transition, I'm actually talking about the transitions because I didn't touch them much. When I was really young, I was always like very vibrant, I was always like everywhere, doing everything. And then, when I was like in middle school, I got very shy. Like, I was so shy, like you never catch me saying anything. Like, I really just be there, I'll just be sitting there, I'll just not say anything. And then, now, I'm not shy anymore. I don't know what happened. But I think I know what happened actually. When I was in middle school, I had a huge transition in the friends that I had. Like, I guess you can say when you grow older, your goals change. You view life differently. And like I said, you start to figure out your identity. And you realize that before, when you had friends in kindergarten, it's like, your only goal is to go and play on the playground, and that's it. But as you get older, you start to have different opinions, you start to have different views on life, you start to have different goals. So you realize that you don't agree with your friends that much anymore. So now for me, one of the huge transitions that I had was my transition to my friend group. And now when I transitioned from this friend group and there was drama, which is inevitable with friends, I guess you can say it made me shy. I think that's the thing that made me really shy. Oh, here comes our other panelist, Idris Sultan. Woohoo! So right now, we are doing like a Q&A. Okay, and the question was, how has your personality changed from when you were 13 and now? So, I think I'm actually done answering the question. I've spoken so much. Please can we hear from the panelists right away? I want to take a seat. And you guys need to start answering these questions because they're for you. Why don't we start with that side? Or anyone that wants to go first, please. How has your personality changed from when you were 13 and now? Yani, personality yako imebadilikaje? Toka ulikuwa miaka 10.
Can you hear me? Yeah. Hi everybody. I can say that my personality has changed, not personality per se, but in terms of the things around me. I kind of changed from being a very open person to a private person. I do believe that as we grow, tunatakiwa choose marafiki ambao wanakaa around us, or rather the things that we say to everybody. So I think growing up from when I was 13, I would have changed my personality in terms of I've become more private. I think that would be my answer. Thank you.
Hello. I would say, a lot has changed. It's been a long time. But just one thing I can think is peer pressure. So I wouldn't say personality, but I think being influenced by people. I more so do what I want to do instead of what everybody else is doing. So when I was in little, you know, hey, my friend, when I put that meeting, I'm going to end up, you know, when I finish, I'm going to end up, like, it's easy, you know? You think before you act, you know? So I would say I make my own choices, and then from that, I make my decisions, okay? So yeah, influence. Strictly influence na watu wengi. Mimi mwenyewe na watu wengine na maisha yangu. Thank you.
No skipping here.
I was just observing the wonderful ladies first. Well, the changes since I was 13 to this moment. Wow. There's changes I did and there's changes that were done to me. I'll generalize it. There's the saying, I'm going to say, Dunia tabara bovu. Yes. It is because it's not the world itself, it's actually the people. We are the tabara bovu, and it's not the world in itself, because we are the ones who are influencing the changes that are happening in the environment. So if I am to change my personality, it's according to who I am interacting with, and that's because of how they can accept what I'm saying. If I am to tell you, stop, some parents, I understand nowadays, have not taught their children to understand the word stop. They've only been taught to understand in a very modest manner. Maybe you're not supposed to be told stop, you're supposed to be told don't continue. So on that factor, my personality has only changed to accommodate the different human personalities that have been brought by the different upbringing from their parents. So I think I have been more social and more empathetic and more understanding of people's differences. So that has been my general understanding of how I've changed in terms of my personality.
Habari zenu jamani. Hello everyone. Personally, I think I wouldn't say much about that. There's a lot that has changed from when I was 13 until now, but it's obviously some for the positive and some for the negative, and that's what growth is about. You grow, so basically you change. It's inevitable. I've changed in terms of speed. I think I'm much more, as you know, Abby was saying, when she couldn't make her own decisions when she was younger, but she can now. And I think that's one of the biggest things that's changed in my life. There was more I could do when I was younger, but I couldn't make decisions for myself. Now I can. So basically, if you ask me, nothing really has changed. I was hungry then, I am hungry now.
Wow. Lovely, lovely. I think a lot has changed since I was 13. And when I just reminisce right now, I was incredibly shy. How many of you guys know that people were always sitting at the back seat of the class? Always at the back seat, never asking questions. But as I grew, I came to understand that confidence is very important. See, my late father, rest in peace, used to take me to prestigious meetings. I was only a teenager at the time, but he would take me to meetings with people with doctorates, PhDs, masters, ambassadors, and he would tell me, Chelsea, you've got to speak. I can't even ask a question in a room of 5 people. You know, I barely finished high school. But I feel like as he trained me, as he would take me to these meetings with him, it built my confidence. I remember the time I went to a local university, so I did the Cambridge system. I went to all the fancy schools in Tanzania. But when we got to university, I started at a local university, of which I was there for a few months. But only then did I understand. I was like, okay, everyone's looking at me because I speak better English. And that's when I was like, oh, so I am of worth, you know? But I learned later that you do not define your worth by what people think about you. It is only you yourself who can give you that worth, okay? You look in the mirror, you wake up every day and say that I am full of worth. And so I was at the local university for a few months and my dad was like, no, you must go to Australia. And that's where I've been doing university. But it taught me a lot. So I know a lot from just being around a different group of people. And I just want to emphasize, teenagers, you need to be confident. You know, you need to be confident. If you're not confident, there's a lot of opportunities you are missing. At university, I would always sit at the front seat. I would always ask questions, and asking questions is not being done. Okay? You want to know that asking questions is not being done because you're the one who's going to be sitting for that exam. And you failed to ask a question in class. And even when I'm 5 minutes late, my lecture, my professors would be like, where's Chelsea today? She's always at the front seat. You know? You're given group assignments and everyone wants to be with you because they're like, oh, this is the girl who asks questions, so she knows. You know? You're not going to be home sitting doing your assignment and be like, oh God, I wish I asked my lecturer this question. So I'd really like to emphasize on confidence. Confidence really challenged me growing up. And I feel like I'm really somewhere compared to where I used to be as a teenager. Thank you.
There's something I picked from that question is that one, something out of your comfort zone. Like how Chelsea says she was always really shy, she never asked any questions, and then she was like, oh, let me start asking questions. It doesn't make me comfortable, but when you're comfortable, know that you're not growing. So stepping out of your comfort zone as you grow is also really important. And like being confident, being confident. Who has the second question?
Can we add?
You want to add? Yeah, please.
Hello. My name is Clausius. I'm author and speaker. Yeah, I would like to add because I'm a bit older than most of you over here. I'm certified, but I don't look certified, right? Yeah. All right. I think, do we all understand what personality is? Do we all understand? Because maybe we are left somewhere. Are we all understand what personality is?
Yeah.
Do we? All right. From my definition, personality is what makes you who you are. All right. So it may be how you think, how you speak, how you act, how you make decisions. Those things that makes who you are. All right. Myself, when I was teen, actually I didn't realize myself. Who am I? So I was like jumping to different things, but when I was growing up, I started because that's jumping to different things. It makes you. It doesn't give you a worth, right? So you feel like when you are around people like Abi, Idris Sultan, you feel like you are a bit inferior. But that's not a way it is. So I started to figure out, you know, until I came to realize that I can write and then become host. So I can encourage you guys to, when you are a teen, try to figure out who you really are. Because myself, if you find me 10, 20 years to come, I'll still be an author because I know who really I am. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And that's really true. Like when we're growing up, this period in our lives is when it's when we're meant to figure out our identity, right? But sometimes that can be a bit very difficult because of peer pressure. Because it's like, you know, when you're trying to figure out who you are, you want to try different things. But it's like if you have friends that, let's say, believe in one thing, they believe in A and you believe in B, then it's like, oh, you don't want to feel like you're the odd one out. You don't want to feel like you're different, just like you said. So, but anyway, thank you very much. Who has the second question?
Yes, what's up everybody? The second question reads, how do you deal with peer pressure?
How do you deal with peer pressure? Umedilaje na pressure ya mapeers?
How do I deal with peer pressure? I think it's a bit unfair that I was the last one to speak and the first one to speak.
Yeah.
Definitely, I think when you are a teenager, I believe you have a goal, you have a vision, you have inspiration. You know, you think of someone like Michelle Obama or Nelson Mandela, and you're just like, you know, I want to get somewhere. You know, you all have someone that inspires you. You know, so I feel like when you think of that, when you have that focus in your life, where I'm not going to do something that's not going to get me where I want to go. You know, it all starts in the mind. You can get advice from people, you can read the news, you can listen to podcasts, but at the end of the day, if you do not change your mindset, nothing is going to change. It starts with your mind, it starts with decision making, and this is the best time to make wise decisions. So I would say definitely be with friends that inspire you, friends that will take you further.
Yeah.
Don't be with friends that will take you backwards. Thank you.
I agree. I feel like with peer pressure, the friends that you have, they have a huge role to play. And can I just say, if you are in a friend group and you feel like you're experiencing peer pressure, then that's probably not the best friend group for you. Because the friends that you need to have around you, first of all, they need to be friends that, you know, you need to have the same morals, the same values. And let's say they're pressuring you to do drugs, right? You don't have the same values then because you don't think it's right, but they do, they think it's right. So one, choosing the people around you, it also has a huge impact on the person that you grow up to be, those that you have around you. Yeah, that's right. Who would like to do that?
All right. Basically, I think most young people, most of us listen to our friends more than we listen to anybody. That's the truth. Your friend is the closest person to you. You have something that's the first person you share with. And so I think it's so important to know who you're dealing with as a friend. If you have picked them to be the first people that you share anything with. I think it's very important to pick the right friends if you want to be successful in life. I think one of the things that can help you is the right friends. Yeah, because you are who you hang out with, you are who you know, if I roll with Idris and he's like this and like that and I'm not, eventually we will both look like we're like this and like that. A good friend of mine once told me that if you associate yourself with someone that is here, let's say you're here, and there's a person that's here, you associate with them, learn from them, try to get up. There's only one way for you, which is up. But if you associate with yourself when you're here, and you associate with somebody that is here, there's two options. One, you pull somebody else up, or two, they pull you down. So don't be in any sort of relationship that will pull you down. You should only be, if you really want success, I think you should be in friendships that can actually bring you up. And I personally think peer pressure is not a bad thing. Yeah. It's just, it depends on whether you can differentiate what is good for you and what is not good for you. If you're influenced by people that want you to work hard, that think you should know, your friends think you should move like this, you don't believe in yourself, and they do it, they ask you, you know what, you can step out and do it. That is the right kind of peer pressure for me. But for as long as you're not having a choice in friendship, your choice doesn't matter. You can't say, we don't go here, I'm not going here. You cannot have an opinion in that friendship. If you often do things that you feel they're not you, if you feel that that friendship is not leading anywhere, then you'd rather be alone. So I think it's really the matter of choice and picking. And if you pick right, then the right friends can get you very far, because I personally have a right friend. She's not here with me today, but I have a very good friend, and we have grown together. Where the places I have touched, I made sure she does too, and she does the same for me. So good friendships can actually get you there faster, but you need to be the one that picks. Thank you.
I'm the most qualified person up here with everything that's happening. There's so many things that people do say sometimes. I quite resonate with them when it comes to things like that. When you associate yourself with people who are up here. Nowadays we've seen it happening. They say if you have like a lot of rich friends and you associate yourself with them, you do become rich, but then you might become chow. But I'm not saying that's a bad thing. If you do have plans, and I do I understand what my sister said there. How do you use this to affect you, and how do you upgrade yourself from that? See, you have to just choose wisely how you set yourself in every single thing. If you do not have a plan, I'll give you a valid example. I'm not going to tell you what to do. I'm just going to tell you what I did. Maybe it's going to be nice or not nice, because if I tell you what to do, then that's me telling you, that's me putting you in another peer pressure. So I'm helping you deal with me, and I don't want to help you deal with me. So what I did is I had a diary, and I drew my plans. This was about 2014, I think, December. I drew like a tree. It was a tree of plans. I put myself up there, and I set myself to, I wrote Oscar, that's actually what I wrote. I wrote an Oscar right there, and then that is what I want. And then I brought it down to where I am, a bit of a nobody. Okay, could you hear me? Yeah. Okay, so I put myself down there to like a bit of a nobody. So how am I going to grow myself from this, what I think is a nobody to that Oscar? So in between, I have tributaries of what I am going to do, which are actually going to help me to get to that. Why you do that is because you're trying to guide yourself from going astray to other people's plans. Because one day you're just sitting on a Sunday and your plan was actually to read a book, and your friend just calls you, hey, I think we should go swimming. You are actually acting on somebody else's plan and not your plan. So by the time you come to realize that you're not really working on your plans, you have really helped somebody else grow. As she says, you're helping somebody who's actually maybe below you or maybe at the same level with you. So if you have your correct plans and you've drawn them, you might go astray, and that is not bad. But as long as you realize that I've actually gone astray, then it's better for you to actually come back into the same way, rather than not even realizing completely that you have actually gone astray. So I think drawing your plans is actually the better thing. And you don't have to draw like too many things at the same time. And your plans change by day. You might wake up tomorrow and something better is in check for you. Who knows? There's not really the straight line to success. So that's pretty much that.
Yeah, I definitely agree with everybody with what they just said. So I think for me personally, how I dealt with peer pressure, like I said, I've changed a lot, and I think I used to be influenced a whole lot, but beginning to know who I am, my inner being, building myself internally, will then influence the external environment. So as much as, so peer pressure, I could be amongst people who are doing great in life, you know, quote unquote, okay? They look like they're doing good on the outside, but how they influence me is not gonna be good. So for example, let's say Justin Bieber's in the room, right? And I'm friends with him. So he can influence me to do good or bad, okay? Just because he has the limelight on him doesn't mean he's a good influence. Or just because he's making money doesn't mean he's a good influence. So knowing who I am will then determine how the pressure affects me, okay? Because the limelight could be good and it can also be bad. It could destroy you, but it can grow you. So knowing who you are. So what I've done is literally growing, like he said, I've read a lot of books, okay? I've taken time to feed myself, to know who I am. So when I enter a room, it doesn't matter who's in the room. I can speak, I can stand, because I know who I am. I'm not influenced so much by the external, but I know who I am, and so if there's good things, I'll take from that. If there's bad, I know to leave it. So I'd say major is grow who you are. Know who you are. Spend time, man, reading books. Spend time asking yourself, okay, who I am, who am I, and where do I want to be 10, 5 years from now, okay? And then leading from there, because I believe God will open doors for you to be in rooms that you never expected to be in, but then the only way they will help you grow is if you know who you are, and you can now take from the good and leave the bad, okay?
Personally, I think I would say discipline is how I dealt with peer pressure, because you need to be disciplined, and also I feel like it's a decision. If we go out together and I don't want to drink and people are drinking, you need to make that decision to not drink. And similar to what Lorraine said, knowing who you are means, you know, knowing what you're for, and knowing what you're worth, and knowing what you need in your life. So having that discipline and knowing that, okay, I'm going out, but I don't want to do certain things, or maybe I have certain friends and they're doing certain things and they're going somewhere to do certain things, and you don't have to go. Or if you don't like a certain friends, then I feel like you should also discard yourself. I also do believe in confrontation. If someone is making you do something that you don't want to do, tell them you don't want to do it. So yeah, discipline, I think would be my answer.
And I feel like when we experience peer pressure, it's always like they're pressuring you, and the reason you give into it is because you want to fit in. You know, it's you want to be validated by your friends. So I guess another way you could overcome peer pressure, not be moved by it, is having self-validation. You know, like they said, knowing your worth, knowing who you are. Because when you know who you are, then it won't matter if your friends laugh at you if you don't do what they want you to do. So it's like, okay, they think I'm weird, or they think I'm a loser. I don't believe that. So whether I do it or not, it's not going to affect me in any way. So having that self-validation and just knowing who you are and your stand will also really help you overcome peer pressure. Does anyone else have any questions or anything to add?
Okay, so since it was my question, I think how I could do peer pressure is by being honest to myself.
Yeah.
Like, okay, yes, you have iPhone 12, but I have an iPhone 6. This is what I can afford. So I'm being honest with myself. That's how I could do peer pressure. Thank you.
Does anyone else have anything they'd like to add?
So, hello everyone, my name is Mason, and just a little addition to what everyone shared about how to deal with peer pressure. Well, most of the major important things everyone has mentioned them, and just a little addition is that doing what you love without the fear of being judged, you know? Because like, for example, you're an artist or you make really good, let's say for example, hip-hop music, or like you really make really good track beats. But then because we live in a type of community that they're not, maybe because of some religious reasons, they might feel like that's a type of music that's not quite cultural for our community. So that type of mentality or that type of attitude kind of like, it degrades the person. It makes them feel like they're not giving it enough. They're not doing what they're supposed to be, trying to cope with the whole community. So like, they tend to fall into the peer pressure and all that.
Yeah. Thank you. And also, one thing that I know personally, I used to be really scared of what people think about me. You know, like.
Gungana's Info Channel. Subscribe now.